And we are live on the air right now. Greetings to those of you joining us. We are getting ready for a program. As you can see some of the wonderful people there standing by. I'm Terry Brock here in Orlando, Florida, and I'll be with you as we go through this. We also have Gina Carr joining us from Orlando, Florida also. And Lois Kramer will be joining us a little bit later. But let's take a look at the good people there in Scotland. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Stuart Harris to introduce us as we get started here, waiting a few minutes at 7 p.m. your time officially, but we'll go ahead and get started with some pre-program announcements. Stuart Harris.
Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to Scotland. We've got a number of people about. Say hi guys. Hi. And I see already we've got 20, 30 people join us. Just setting the room up, so get yourself coffee, get yourself water, pad and pencil, mind maps, whatever you've got to use to start capturing some information. There's going to be some great stuff from Lois and Terry, and because I probably speak funnier than most, I won't do a lot of talking. Terry and Lois will really be taking the stage tonight. If you've got some questions, have them in mind as well. Terry might be able to open up some questions for some people globally. We'll have some questions coming from the guys in the room. So hopefully we're going to have a great night. This is brand new to us, not just electricity, but connecting with you guys as well. So hopefully you're going to have a great night, and we look forward to joining you the rest of the time. Terry, back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Stuart. Well, we are doing something here that's really exciting. For those of you that are joining us via the Google Plus Hangout and Webinar Jam that we're using, we are able to connect with the world. Right now we have about 119 people who have registered online to be either here live or to be able to get the recording later. From places like India, Australia, the United States, Canada, England, Scotland, of course, and I think we have some Irish as well in there, and maybe some other places too. But we will look forward to hearing from them. And also, we now have joining us from St. Louis, Missouri, the lovely and wonderful Lois Kramer. Lois, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, what a surprise! I just dropped by, Terry.
Yes, just dropping by. And tell us a little bit about what you have there and what's going on in St. Louis today.
What's going on in St. Louis today? It's a wonderful thing that's going on here, folks. It's 75 degrees and sunny.
And what is 75 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? I do not know.
It's something. It's something, Terry.
Yeah. Anyone there in Scotland know what the conversion is? We never figured that out here in the U.S. What is that in Celsius if it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit?
26.
I'd have to check with my friends at Google on that one.
26. Somebody just
26.
said 26.
Okay,
but
so
it's
26
sunny.
degrees. We're already dispensing
gorgeous.
with wonderful education and learning.
At no extra charge to you.
Well, there might be a little, but that's okay.
All
We're
right.
ready to go. We might do it. And Gina, you're joining us there as help administrator. You're an engineer and able to help out on that. How are things going with you, Gina Carr?
Well, they're going just fine. Happy to be here and joining you guys from all around the world. So very, very thrilled. It's going to be wonderful. I love hearing Terry and Lois present. Every time I hear them present, I pick up something new, and really excited to learn.
Excellent. Well, also I would say those of you that are joining us from around the world, various places via the wonders of live Google Plus Hangout with Webinar Jam helping us on that, as well as those of you that are going to be watching this on recording. We are going to talk about a number of different things when the program officially starts, which is in a few minutes. And if you have questions between now and then, or you have another question afterwards, by all means get in touch with us. You'll see that you can reach me there at www.terrybrock.com. That's my website. And Lois, tell them how they would be able to get in touch with you if they have questions afterwards.
If you have any questions afterwards, feel free to email me. My email address, and I think you're going to have a handout with my contact information on it, but it is Lois, L-O-I-S, at bookmorebusiness.com. Lois at bookmorebusiness.com is my email. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And I'd even be happy to have you pick up a phone and call me. All my contact info and all of that is on my website.
Very good. Well, Lois, you have helped so many people. I mean, I'm just tickled and delighted to be able to be with you on this because I've seen you present many different times in different places, and you always give a wealth of information. So for those that are speakers, that are authors, coaches, people that are consultants, people that really are thought leaders, this is what's available for you. And this is exciting what we're doing today because we're using Google Plus Hangouts. There's tools that are available. This is one of them. It's not the only one, and we're not being compensated by Google for doing this, although they should. I'm sure they should give us some money for this. But
wait a minute, I'm not making any money?
Well, we're going to double what you got last time, which was 0. So do the math on that. Yeah, there we go. We're doubling it.
All right. All right, I'm still go.
Yeah, we're still good.
Why don't we give a shout out to some of the people who've signed in? If you're out there in video land, why don't you sign in on the chat and let's give a quick hello to some of these folks. We have Tony. Let's see, Tony, Jackie from Kent. Let's see, we have Diane Bogino from Atlanta.
Well, hi, Diane.
Rosemarie from Ohio. Cindy Michelle from Northampton. Let's see, who else do we have here? Sandy, don't know where you're from. Scott from Scotland. John Mayfield from Missouri. Ann Obarski from Ohio. Wayne from Melbourne, Australia. Kat from Virginia. Peter from Thorsten, Sandy from LA, Tony from sunny Florida. We're not going to be able to call out everybody, but Maggie Maggie, okay. So
Maggie Ciccione, I bet, from Canada, one of our CAPS people.
Okay.
Wonderful. Hey,
yeah, Tony. Yeah. Hey, welcome, Tony.
Well represented.
Maggie G.
So this is definitely a worldwide event. And matter of fact, Gina and Lois, I'll ask you to help me on something. For some reason, my Webinar Jam sidebar is not coming up. I don't know why, and we're in the middle of this right now. So what we'll do is we'll just proceed forward. But I'm not seeing any of the feedback of what's going on there. So I'll let you go ahead and read that out as questions come in. Just let me know. And those of you that are joining us now, I see we have more and more viewers all the time coming in. As you have a question, you'll see on the Webinar Jam side of it, over there on the left, you click on that icon, and it gives you the ability to ask questions and have chats with us as well. And so we want this to be live and interactive so that you're not just watching a video, you're actually interacting. If we say something and you go, yeah, but what about, I got a question on that, by all means, we want to hear from you there on the chat side. That would be important. Gina, anything you want to add about that?
Yes, and sometimes it takes me a second because I mute myself so that I'm not making noise while you guys, while I'm not talking. But yes, I just want to say, if as you guys have questions, please post those, and we'll come back to those periodically and read them off for you. And you know, right now we're in the pregame chat, so we haven't officially started yet. So if you're wondering why all this blather and sort of housekeeping type things, that's because we haven't officially started yet, even though it may look like it.
Yeah. And Stuart Harris, let's go back to you. You're there with the new PSA region in Scotland, and it's growing right now. What do you see are some of the issues that professional speakers, authors, and coaches, the people that are there, are dealing with right now, as you see it there in Scotland?
What I found personally, I'll ask the guys to myself, but over the last couple of years, it was certainly harder as the economy was struggling a bit. There's a number of organisations that really pulled back in training, and certainly cut back in their conferences, where they would maybe have 2 or 3 large conferences a year. They'd maybe cut it down to maybe smaller local conferences. So the chance of getting the big gigs was harder. So what that does, what I certainly found, was like fine-tuning what I was doing to get out into the marketplace. And it was a lot of legwork, there was a lot of chasing after people, a lot of meetings, a lot of trying to engage with people. But I'm reaping the rewards of that. Much as I was chasing that then, that sort of database is actually there now. What I've never used in the past is stuff like this whole idea of the Google Hangouts. Now I sign up to your, and this isn't a plug for your newsletters, Terry, but I've signed up to them and I get some fantastic information about that, about how it gets me in to understand what Google Hangouts is. And I'll mention this when we go live, but the whole point of this conversation tonight came about when you, Lois and I all commented in the same thread on the NSA Facebook page. And I've followed you guys for the last couple of years, and I thought, why don't we try and do a Google Hangout and try and catch up with these guys? And what was going to be 6 or 7 people in the room here chatting to you guys one quiet night is now turned into 100+ people around the world sharing and learning from the stuff that you guys are going to share with us. So it's really good. What, just asking you guys, what have you guys come across the challenges that you faced over the last couple of years?
One of the same ones as you've been talking about, actually, Stuart, because it has actually been really hard to persuade people to part with their hard-earned cash. There's still a temptation on the part of many people, even in the supposedly improving economic circumstances, to keep their wallets firmly shut.
Yeah. Anything else?
People take ages to make decisions.
Yeah, can you guys hear us over here?
We can hear it. We need you to really speak up loudly. We're only hearing you through that small little microphone on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important. And I really appreciate what you're saying there on that. I think that matters a lot. And one of the things that we're doing here is showing, hey, it doesn't matter what geographical area you happen to be in. Because of technology, we've now kind of splattered that all over. So it's nice to be in a particular area, but look at what you can do with this to connect with people, to give them information. And so we'll be talking more about that as we go.
Mm-hmm.
And Penny was just asking a question there. Penny?
Just saying, lots of interest, but very few people making decisions.
You get that, Terry? Lots of interest, but not that many people making good decisions and getting you in there. So it'll come. The more tools we've got in the box, the better it'll be. There's certainly a number of people across the PSA UK and certainly PSA Scotland where we've got people moving from the training world into the speaking world and getting trying to get that, make that step. I'm certainly still there. I certainly still do probably more training than I do conference keynotes, but it's a matter of getting those tools in the box and working on my website and working on my one sheet, a lot of which I've picked up from Lois's website, and Lois contributing to discussion threads either with the PSA UK or the NSA Facebook groups. Really good stuff, and the amount of stuff that you actually pull from that is just great as far as the sharing is concerned, that sharing of that knowledge. That's good.
Yes, thank you. That's very important, and I think right now we'll be able to look at doing something a little bit different. As the market changes, we're going to change. We can adapt, and as we learn this new technology, we can do a lot more than we ever did before. And that's why we wanted to actually do this, not just talk about it in theory, but to actually do it. You see it, warts and all. If it breaks or something goes wrong, you're going to see us. We're right out there taking the risk, and that's part of the fun of it. And Lois and I know we've gone through putting things together, making it happen, and when we have a little glitch initially, we work through it and get it working. And that's part of that
when
spirit.
we have a glitch, I walk Terry through the things that need to be done, and, you know, it works.
Yeah, eventually it does.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
There we go. All right, well, we're coming up to a time. We've got about a minute and a half here before we officially start at 7 p.m. And Stuart, we want to turn it over to you at that point for what you're doing. So I'm going to let you, you've got a clock ticking there, don't you?
Somewhere.
Somewhere, probably on your computer.
What on technology?
There we go, the technology. So we got about a little over a minute right now. And so, Stuart, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can welcome people, and then also you'll be able to welcome not only those that are there with you in Glasgow, but also those around the world who are joining us and watching this live. We have 30 viewers right now joining us live, and we will have others joining. Most of the people generally join via the recording, so that will be a large part of the audience that we have.
Right. Okay.
Stuart, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much for everybody that's joined us so far. I'm sure there's still going to be, certainly we've still got a couple more people joining us here, but it's not near the end of the day. It's just past the witching hour of 6, 7 o'clock. So some people will be coming from work. We may well be getting some people dropping into the room. Thanks to everybody so far that's already registered and opened up the page now. I know how easy it is to leave it to the last minute, so it's great we've got a number of people, and there's certainly a number of people in PSA UK and their names that I recognise, just right at the top of my list. I've got Christine Marsh there, who's somebody I've done some work with down in England, and we've certainly attended a couple of conferences as well. So it's great to see so many people joining us. Terry, do you want to give me a nod when we are actually live? Because I've got it coming up to 7. Will you get a trigger?
Yes, it is now 7 o'clock and 10 seconds after. So you are on. It is now 7 in Scotland. It is 2 o'clock in the eastern seaboard of the United States, and 1 o'clock in the United States time zone. We're rocking and rolling.
Okay, thanks very much, Terry. Hi, guys. My name is Stuart Harris. I'm the Regional President of PSA Scotland, which is part of PSA UK and Ireland. Tonight we have, a dozen people in the room, get more people joining us. Obviously, there's a number of people out working, and maybe will be joining us later tonight. It's fantastic we've got so many people joining us live around the world. I know we've got some people out in India, Australia, certainly across the States. I have friends in Ireland, down in England, but we don't talk about them. So it's great to welcome so many people. I'm coming across to NSA convention in July, so please come and say hello. And I drink whiskey. I drink Glenlivet, and just a very, very tiny drop of water. Never put ice in it. That's the rules. So we've got a fantastic night tonight. I was on the NSA Facebook page probably in about February sometime, and Lois, as per usual, was jumping in going, you look for some information? Here's some great information. And I've been following her on there and on our website for a couple of years, and the information is always fantastic. Terry, I met at a convention in the UK about 4 or 5 years ago. Fell in love with the guy, absolutely fantastic. Gina Carr was across, so hi Gina as well.
Hello.
She's the one that's not allowed. She's the one that's not allowed to speak. So yeah, so switch her back on to mute. So I met the two of them, and as often happens when you go to these conventions, it's not so much what you learn in the big room, it's what you learn in the bar room afterwards. And I know we sat chatting until about 1 o'clock, obviously drinking iced tea and nothing else. So it was great meeting them, and I just wanted to, I came up with an idea, why don't we do a Google Hangout with Terry and Lois joining us in Scotland at one of our meetings and just having a bit of chat. Since then, it's grown into something bigger. We've now got 120 people have registered to watch this either live or the recorded version, which will be on YouTube. So you can watch that at any time in the future. There's fantastic information. Stop it, start it, take some notes. There'll be a load of great information that will be coming out from that. So, Lois, would you just like to introduce yourself first?
Be happy to do that. My name is Lois Kramer, and I'm coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. And it's a beautiful sunny day here.
Oh,
Stuart, I think we're getting a little bit of feedback on there, and we need to turn that off. And I think Lois has frozen on for us there. Lois, can you still hear us?
I work with. Are you with me?
Yes, I think we are. We're getting some feedback. Is there a way you can adjust the volume, or Lois, maybe adjust your volume downward just a little bit?
Okay.
Terry, we're hearing feedback on your end too.
Okay.
Okay, Lois, what's your background with the PSA or the NSA? How long have you been with the NSA?
I've been with NSA as my own business since 1998, and have done several things through our chapter in St. Louis, Missouri. Have worked on some national committees, on the editorial committee of our speaker magazine, be aware of. And I visit chapters all over the United States and the Providences for CAPS and do programs for speakers on how to grow their speaking practice.
Okay, great stuff, good stuff. And we're going to kick the night off with basically giving you the floor for about 40 minutes. I know some fantastic stuff you want to walk through, but also if you've got in, you'll take some questions from certainly people in the room, and my colleague Scott Johnson will field any questions from the room. and I know some of the guys have been thinking about it for quite a while, some questions they want to pose to you tonight, haven't you? So,
you guys, excuse me on a technical point here. We're getting a lot of Lois, I'm thinking if you had earbuds, and perhaps Terry the same thing. We're getting a lot of feedback on you too. And then perhaps you yourself if you're not speaking. But are you still hearing? Are you hearing an echo double from me?
No, not over here.
No.
Okay, are you hearing a double from Lois?
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay with Lois.
No.
Not double, but there's just a bit of a delay.
Little delay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously this is a good learning thing that we've got to think about. We've obviously got to turn it into the positive. But Terry can maybe talk later on about the broadband speed, because we've certainly checked a number of times and made sure we're in a hotel in the middle of Glasgow just now. When we first checked it, there was less than 5 megabytes per second, and Terry said we really for download, and Terry said we really need 5 or more. The hotel, the Mercure Hotel, if you ever come to Glasgow, great, looking after us splendidly. We're on 10% commission if anybody comes over, but they've isolated a broadband speed for us, so we've now got 29 megabytes per second download, and I think it's about 12 upload. So it's obviously crucial that you get a really good broadband speed, and I'm no doubt Terry will discuss that when he comes on.
Yeah, I can just say that's a very good thing, and working well. By the way, how is my voice coming across to you there in the room?
How about you guys? Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're fine, we're okay. We're okay this way, yeah.
Very good. I've switched over. You notice I'm using my earbuds here, standing by, and I think that might have cleared up some of the technical issues. Gina, what are your thoughts on that from a technical point of view?
Okay. We're definitely still hearing a good bit of background noise or duplicate. Someone's given us a suggestion that when the speakers are not speaking, you know, Lois, Terry, and myself, make sure our microphones are muted.
Yeah, and I'll do that this side as well. So before we kick in with Lois to take her session, and I'll keep quiet with that so I can mute myself here. Terry, I'm sure everybody knows who you are across in the States, but I know there might be a very, very small island just off Wales that might not know of it. So could you just tell us a bit about who you are, what's your name, and where do you come from?
Well, thank you. I'm Terry Bruck, and I'm a communicator. I speak, I write, I have fun, and I like to show people around the world how they can improve their business and their lives by using technology and time-honored principles on building relationships. And so we get a chance to play with a lot of tools, and that's why it's so exciting right now to show you this tool that we're using and talk about some others that are out there so that really your market is worldwide. It is not limited to one little piece of dirt wherever you happen to be, whatever the piece of dirt it is, whether you're in Canada or Scotland or the US or wherever. What matters is now can you bring your brain power to embrace this revolutionary new technology, and that's what we're going to talk about today, and it is an honor to be with you there. So thank you. I'm going to mute myself and turn it over to Lois Kramer so she can dispense with some wonderful wisdom. Get your pens and paper out, get your note-taking device of choice ready to go, and Lois is going to fill us up with lots of good information.
Lois, you are muted right now, so can you unmute yourself?
I'm unmuted now. Thank you, Gina. Appreciate you. And first, let me say this is a real kick for me, and this is kind of a first for me. I've come into this, and I'm getting a little more self-assured by every minute that we're on the air, frankly. But I'm really looking forward to this, and I know that this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope that you do learn a lot. And I would love feedback. We solicit feedback from you after the program if we can help you. But today I'm going to talk about 3 main things. The first is positioning. The second is creating a primary one-sheet, which helps you to clarify and edit what it is you do and how you do it. And then the third is how do you go after bookings? What do you say? Who do you call? That kind of thing. And to me, it all begins, every time I work with any speaker, it begins with their market positioning. We have to be able to say what we do. You hear a lot of people talk about elevator speeches. You don't hear me talking about elevator speeches because I've never given a speech in an elevator, never been asked to give a speech in an elevator. And my sense is elevator speeches tend to be too long. And we are professional communicators by occupation. So my sense is that we should be able to say what we do using an economy of words. I'd like you to be able to say what you do in under 7 seconds. You heard me give my positioning statement, and I'm going to give it to you again. If I were just meeting all of you, I would say, my name is Lois Kramer. I work with professional speakers who want to book more business, make more money, and avoid costly mistakes. Then I would shut up. Because the response I'm going to get, there are going to be one of 2 responses. Someone might say, how nice for you. I know they're probably not a prospect for what I do. They have no interest at all. Hopefully, someone will say, tell me how you do that. And then I'm going to say, thank you for asking. I do it through my consulting, my programs, my products, all designed to help grow a speaking practice. And then I go into as many details as the conversation elicits. It has to be a conversation. It cannot be a monologue at any point. Though I will tell you, the person asking the question is in charge of the conversation. So anytime you're feeling out of charge, ask a question. So my sense for you is that you will find, if you adopt a positioning statement and use my template, that you'll be very happy you did. My template is, I work with organizations. And I use the word organizations because it is kind of inclusive language that encompasses associations as well as businesses of all types. So I work with organizations who want to blank. That would be the concept of what you do in order to be able to do, or so that they can blank. I work with organizations that want to blank in order to be able to blank. So we're looking to fill needs that they have with information we have. When I was doing a lot of sales training, I did it under the banner Fast Forward Selling. I still do a few a year. And my positioning statement for that is, I work with organizations who want to fast forward their selling skills so they'll be more successful at what they do. I work with organizations that want to fast forward their selling skills so they'll be more successful at what they do. And the reason you will love yourself if you adopt this is because this is the answer to the question, what do you do every time, everywhere, always? At the bottom of your emails, under your name and contact information, it would be great to have a positioning statement. Mine says, working with professional speakers who want to book more business, make more money, and avoid costly mistakes. At the bottom of every blog post of mine, it says, copyright 2015, Lois Kramer. Lois works with professional speakers who want to book more business, make more money, and avoid costly mistakes. By the mere repetition of this, we're really getting it out there, and it's becoming memorable. And because it's short, it's a short thing, it is easily memorable, and it is easily repeatable. And also, when you are approaching a prospect, you know, some of you were talking before the official start of the meeting about approaching a prospect, and it's hard to get through and hard to have a good conversation. Every time you call any prospect that you want to work for, This is the exact way I would set that up. I would call and ask for the decision maker. The decision maker in the United States in corporate is typically the VP of sales or the VP of marketing. In corporate in Scotland, England, and Ireland, sometimes you all have someone called the director of learning or director of communications, I have heard, that handle that function. So you call that person and you introduce yourself by your name, positioning statement, for an upcoming meeting. Every time I'm calling to see if one of my programs may be a good fit for an upcoming meeting. And then we go into our qualifying questions. But that is always how you open every call. In fact, it also is a good way to open emails. If you're following up after a call and sending a one-sheet and setting up the next conversation, you may remember, I'm Lois Kramer. I work with speakers who want to book more business, make more money, and avoid costly mistakes. I called you last April to see if one of my programs may be a good fit. Blah, blah, blah. Positioning statement is everything. If I were leaving one of you a voicemail, my voicemail would be, Stuart, I'm so sorry I missed you today. This is Lois Kramer. I work with speakers just like you who want to book more business and make more money. I'm calling to see if one of my programs may be a good fit for an upcoming meeting. I'd love to send you something, but I'd like to make sure it would be welcome. Could you call me back and let me know if I could do that? And then I would always repeat my name and number twice. Believe it or not, some of my clients have told me that little twist on a voicemail, including, I'd love to send you something, but I want to make sure it would be welcome, gets a better response. Because we're very clear about what we're asking. We're just asking permission. Now, of course, when they call us back, we're going to try and qualify them. But your positioning statement is powerful because you use it in every aspect of your business. The first paragraph of my bio on my website, the first thing that says is my positioning statement. So you say it over and over and over again, and merely the matter of repeating it is what ingrains it in the minds of our buyers. So positioning statements are incredibly important to me. When I hear people say, and I do hear lots of people say, you know, I just don't know what to say if I call someone. I always give you this formula because I want you to say it. I say the same thing all the time to anybody. Your name, your positioning statement. I'm calling to see if a program would be a good fit, and then we qualify. Does that make sense? And Stuart, if we could look at the handout, and maybe we can put up the handout, the second side of 10 questions to book more business.
And Lois, as you're doing that right now, let me jump in here. And so those that are joining us live on the Google Plus Hangout and on YouTube and recording, how will they get in touch with this handout? How will you make that available to them?
They can email me and I'll get it to everybody.
And their email address would be?
Lois, L-O-I-S, at bookmorebusiness.com. Lois at bookmorebusiness.com.
Excellent. And those of you that are joining us, notice you'll see when Lois is speaking, we have the lower third. It's just another nice thing. See, my job is kind of go behind the scenes. This is what's behind the curtain kind of thing. We've got the lower third there, so that way you can see Lois and always get in touch with her. Good thing to have. It's called the lower third that is available in Google Plus Hangout. So I'll hush here and let you continue on, Lois.
That's Lois? Good.
Yes.
I was thinking, how about if we have people share their positioning statements in the chat?
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
great.
Here's Gina Carr's. Let me read yours, Gina. Gina Carr has a wonderful positioning statement. I'm Gina Carr. I work with authors who want to sell more books and make more impact. I'd change it to say, and have more impact. I work with authors who want to sell more books and have more impact. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Short, sweet, to the point. No way they'd misunderstand that, Gina. Perfect.
Well, thank you for all your help. You had helped me with one in the past, and then in Vegas, you went through it again, and I made some modifications.
It works. It works. It works. It works. Let's see if we have any more. I don't see any more right now.
Yes, we have Scott from Scotland. I work with leaders and professionals to help them bring the best out of their team and themselves.
That was from Scott?
Yes. You may need to scroll up.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Scott says, I work with leaders and professionals. Okay. I think that I think I would advise you, Scott, to either say I work with people, or I work with leaders, or I work with professional service providers. And then you say, and then you use a word I can't stand, Scott, and that's the word help. Everybody who knows me knows that this is one of my big bugaboos, because I say volunteers help. We work. So I would rather have you say something like, wait a minute, I've lost Scott, and I'm going to get him right back here. I would rather have you say something like, I work with people who want to bring out the best of their team, bring out the best in their team and in themselves. I work with people who want to bring out the best in their team and in themselves. And then when you're selling this program, you want to say to the buyer that this is a program that will give your employees great insight, your leaders, great insight into the job they're doing, but it also has some aspects of helping them in their personal life, which was also a bonus. So that's kind of the way I'd talk about it, Scott, but I think that's pretty good, just a couple of tweaks on it. And Annabelle K says, I work with businesses to help, to help them, to help them contract and manage the freelancers and virtual teams they pay. I work with businesses. I would say something like this, Annabelle. I work with businesses who want to manage freelancers and virtual teams well. Or you could say, I work with businesses who want to contract and manage freelancers well, period. It's shorter, it's to the point, and I think it will be easier for you. The shorter it is, I think it'll be easier for you. So that would be my suggestion. I see Lauren. Hi, Lauren. I'm Lauren Murfield, and I work with leaders to leverage their power to unleash the ultimate performance, production, and profits in the 3D world. That's too much. Too much. So let's look about how we could make that a little bit shorter. Sorry, I lost his, there it is. If you want to, and if leaders are indeed your end product, if you will, you can say, I work with leaders. But to me, you would almost want to say something like, I work with leaders who want to unleash employee performance, production, and profits. I'm wondering why, quite frankly, you're adding in the 3D world, because I almost think that unless that is the only thing you do, you might not want to add that on. That might be one of the areas in which you help unleash. But I'd consider saying, I work with leaders who want to unleash performance, production. You could say, I work with leaders who want to unleash performance, production, and profits in a 3D world. In a 3D world. I think that would work. I think that would work. You're welcome, Scott. Lynn Franklin. I work with business leaders who want to be more persuasive, who want to be the most persuasive person in the room, so that they can make more money and have a lasting positive effect on their companies. I think that I would change it up and I would shorten it up a little bit, Lynn. And again, I would start out by saying, I work with leaders. You don't have to say business leaders, just say leaders. I work with leaders who want to positively impact I'm thinking on my feet here. I work with leaders. I don't know about being the most persuasive person in the room. I think I work with leaders who want to be able to bring out the best in their employees and have a positive effect on their company. Honestly, that's the way I think I would say it. I work with leaders who want to bring out the best.
Can I speak?
Yes, please. Hi. I'm here for you.
Gina, I think you muted Stuart, and we need to have that question from there.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Please open the mic back up. Sounds like you did.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lois.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Amy. Pleased to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I'm really enjoying. Thanks. I'm really enjoying your presentation. I'm wondering if you can help me because I'm stuck with the word help. Okay. So at the moment, I've got for my what did you call it? Statement.
Positioning statement.
Positioning statement. I've got I deliver dramatic learning to help people feel good at work. Okay. So how can you help me get rid of that word?
To help people feel better at work.
Yeah, to help people feel good at work.
I think I would say I work with organizations who want their employees to be engaged, productive, and happy to be there every day.
To be engaged,
productive, and happy to be there every day.
Be there every
You
day.
want it to be real conversation.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I like that. I think what I liked about the first one I had was that it's slightly more relaxed in terms of language, kind of less corporate feel. So I would like to kind of tame what you've said. I like what you've said, but I kind of like to tame it so it's slightly
here's
less.
your challenge. You have to remember who are you talking to get this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, it will be people in the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's a whole range of people. Yeah.
It'll be corporate on the executive level. And so you want to speak in an organizational way. In a more corporate way.
Mm-hmm.
Read
Okay.
what I gave you. Sounds for you to say.
I work with organizations who want their employees to be engaged, productive, and happy to be there every day.
I mean, I have to say I like
it. Great. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Now, live with it. I'll mute myself now. Pardon?
Live with this a while.
Okay.
And one of the things I say, after you have decided on a positioning statement, I want you to repeat it 100 times a day for a week.
Great. That'll be fun. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to mute here now. Thank you.
Thank you. You brave soul.
And Lois, if I can interject here, we really appreciate that question, Amy. And if anyone else there in Glasgow, in Scotland, you have a question, why don't you just come up and stand so we can see you? Yes. And then what we can do is we can make sure that we answer your questions as well as those that are coming in around the world. This is one of those wonderful parts about using this technology, that we're getting a chance to blend people from joining us remotely and being able to have those that are there. We're hoping in the future we'll be able to reach forward into time for those that watch the recording of this. But we haven't got the time travel technology yet. We're working on that, though. Lois, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. I think that, come on up. Come on up to the microphone. Tell me who you are and what your statement is.
Hi, Lois. I'm really enjoying...
Sorry. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Hi, Lois. I'm really enjoying this. And my name is Penny Haywood-Coulter. Yes, I'm from Edinburgh, but I've come to Glasgow. My question is, if I put my sales pitch into your template, I end up with talking about businesses rather than people. For example, I work with businesses that sell to other businesses to get them noticed in the media and online. And I'm wondering if I should be more specific about people rather than businesses.
I think you should say I work with people.
In businesses that sell to other businesses. Ah. Right. So one of my USPs is to be a B2B specialist.
Well, you can also say, I work with people. And instead of saying businesses on the front end, just say I work with people who sell B2B. That's the way I'd approach it.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Thanks, Penny.
Thank you.
Any other brave souls?
I think that's it. I think that's it in the room just now, Lois. I'm just conscious of time, and I know we said we'd wrap up by 9. So I know we've got loads of time just now, but we just get so much more to get through with the one sheets and taking on from your side before we hand over to Terry about 1:45, and then on the hour.
Can you put up the one sheet?
Yeah, Terry, you get the one sheet for the screen share?
Let's see. We're looking for that. I don't have that right now.
I sent it through in a Dropbox from Lois on email yesterday.
Yeah.
We're hunting for it now.
Well, let me just talk about a one sheet. A one sheet is I think the best tool in your toolbox, and it also allows you to be able to provide people a snapshot of your business. I think they're incredibly important as follow-ups whenever you have a first call, as reminders of your services from time to people, and in events where you are together, live networking, they're great to be able to hand over instead of just a business card or in addition to a business card, because it gives a little bit more information. But when I say a one sheet, I literally mean a one sheet, a two-sided one sheet. And what I want you to have on the one sheet, and when we see it, we'll see it, is a business portrait picture. And I would urge you to make sure that's what it is.
And Lois, I have found that now. We can pull it up on the screen one moment. As we go through it, what I'm doing right now is sharing my screen, and right now you should see that on the screen here.
Perfect.
Business.
Perfect. Thank you. So, folks, right now you're looking at the top of my one sheet. And you can see I've got my logo at the top. You can have your logo or your name. Then I have a business portrait, and then front and center, kind of pulled out from the text by color, my positioning statement. That's the first thing people will see when they look at this, and it is exactly the first thing I want them to see. Then typically, you can see underneath I've got testimonials. So I've said in my positioning statement what I do. Underneath, these are people I've done it for. So it answers that old question that we hope we're never going to get asked when you say, I'd like to do a program for you. Have you ever done that program before? Hopefully they'll say yes. Then if you could go back up to the top, Terry, and on the right-hand side, you can see I have a section, Get More Clients, Success Strategies for you and your staff. Now, this is my consulting one sheet. You would have, where I have Get More Clients, you would have a speech title, bullet, 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 speech title, bullet, bullet, bullet. But I want you to notice that the bullets that I have are the walkaways people get from my consulting. So the bullets need to be the walkaways that people get from your speeches. And I believe in beginning each bullet with an action word to make sure they are seeing it and digesting this as an actionable strategy. Use, develop, create, identify, quantify, answer, utilize, those kinds of things. And so if you have 3 speeches, maybe you'll have 3 or 4 bullets under each, and you can have more than that on your website. You can have all you want on your website. But you have limited real estate on a one sheet. But you want the takeaways. That's what the person who hires you wants to know. What are going to be the takeaways? What will my audience members be able to do differently? What tactics, techniques, ideas, what can we implement?
Lois, pardon
Yes.
me just a moment, but everyone, if you are watching online and you want to see the sheet that she's referring to, then make Terry's box white. Just click on his little film strip at the bottom so that you can see that. And then Terry, you might try clicking on it also when you're sharing it, because when she's talking, she's overwriting it and people aren't seeing it. So they can click on the white on the box themselves and do what's called white boxing it. And Terry, you as the super admin might be able to click on it so that it'll show the right one for everyone.
Sure, here we go. We're trying this now. Going in there, and
Great.
now it should be active. Do you see that on your screen now?
Yes, and can you scroll down a little bit?
Scrolling down, we have that allowable today. It's now legal.
And then underneath the bullets, I want you to see I've got a little blurb here, and a lot of people call it, who do one sheets, a lot of people call it your bio. It really isn't your bio, and let me tell you why I don't want your bio. Interesting fact that I've discovered from speaking myself when I did a lot of fast-forward selling, and working with my clients and working with bureaus who hire me to work with their agents, the people who hire you at first blush don't care about what you've done in the past. They want to know, what are you going to do for me right now? Now, they may say, I want to know more about your past before I sign a check. But understand, at the first contact, what they want to know is, what can you do for me? So if you look at this paragraph, I'm really regurgitating, if you will pardon the expression, my positioning statement, my market positioning. Lois Kramer knows the speaking business. She has worked with the superstars of speaking as well as the superstars of tomorrow. She is both cheerleader and strategist. Her expertise in the industry has led her to present at conventions, chapters, workshops all over the country and in Canada, blah, blah. That's what that says. And I haven't said anything about my background. Now, if somebody goes on my website and looks for my bio, the first paragraph of my bio is that. Because I want to engage people by positioning. So I want to position it before I even take them through. And then I mentioned I was at a Fortune 10 company in sales and marketing for a number of years and worked with a very successful professional speaker who was nothing before I worked with him, by the way, unless he's tuning in. But that is, so that's kind of a repositioning piece. And then underneath that, of course, my contact information. Terry, are you able to turn that over for us? Or scroll down. All you need to do is scroll down, friend. And go up to the top. You can see on the back there are any number of ways speakers can use the back of their one-sheets. For example, if Terry or Gina was doing a one-sheet, they might want to put on the back the cover of their Clout book, Clout Matters, with a few of the testimonials, testimonials people have given them, reviews people have given them about the book, and a little information about the book. It's a great way to show a depth of intellectual property by putting a book on the back. Now, I have my 10 questions to book more business. That's kind of what I'm really known for around here. These are my qualifying questions when selling. And so I'm always asked for these, so I decided I was going to put this on the back sheet of my one sheet. And we're going to go over these in a minute, but could you scroll down again, Terry? A little bit. I want you to see I have some social media addresses on the back too, because we want people to connect with us in every way that they can. And I also have some QR codes. On mine, I have a QR code that links you to Book More Business TV, so you can see what some of my clients have to say about working with me. Another code, if you click on it, it will take you to my list of clients. If I were Terry and Gina, I may want to have a code or just a link to the first chapter of their book. This is a great way when you have a book to be able to give people a taste of it. You know, when guests go on morning talk shows and they bring out their book, many times the people interviewing them say, if you'd like to read a chapter of their book, go to our website and read a chapter. You ought to be doing the same thing. You ought to have it on your website, and if you're going to promote a book on the back of a one sheet, you ought to have a link to that there too. You'll sell more books if you do it. So on the back, that's all I have. And you can decide for yourself what you want on the back. You can also decide not to have anything on the back. In the beginning, one-sheets were really one-sided one-sheets. So you may decide that's the way you want to go. It's your own choice. It's your own choice. But this is your primary marketing piece that you should have as a PDF file that you can send to your prospects and clients. And several of us use it on our handouts as the last page of a handout to remind people of other things we can do. It can serve in a multiple in multiple ways. In fact, if you go to my blog, bookmorebusiness.com/blog, and put in the search engine one-sheets, I have a whole post on how to use one-sheets, how to leverage one-sheets, how to use them in your business, and you might find that interesting. So how are we time-wise here? How much time do I have left?
Yeah, maybe another 10, 15 minutes so we can move over to Terry. And then that leaves, we'll pick, I know we're picking questions up as we're going along, but it means that we can get, here, it means that we can get some, say, 10, 15-minute questions at the end. So 10, 15 minutes and then I'm going to hook you off.
Okay. The thing I wanted to cover are those 10 questions that are on the back of that one sheet, because this is how you can quantify someone's time for people to decide whether we're a good fit for their businesses. So I'm a big believer in target marketing. And I'm a big believer in asking the questions that can get us the information to know whether we're going to work for a prospect now, later, or never. And the 10 questions to book more business is the way to do it. Maybe, Terry, if you could put that side back up again, that would be helpful. The first question is, do you use paid professional speakers? Now remember, I told you that the decision maker for you is going to be a VP of Sales, Director of Communications, or VP of Marketing. This is a way of confirming that they make the decision, or if they don't, who does? Or if they do, is there someone else involved in the decision? So the first question you're going to want to ask after I'm calling to see if one of my programs may be a fit for an upcoming meeting is, do you use paid professional speakers at your meetings? Next, who have you used in the past? Great question. Great question. If they say we've used Terry Brock, then we know that this is a company who is interested in technology, cutting-edge technology tools, productivity, and that they've got a bucket load of money. That's what we know. Do you have a specific program date is the next question. And to me, unless they have a specific program date, it's still kind of a pipe dream. We're hoping it'll happen, but we're not sure at this point. Where will the meeting be held? What type of meeting is this? Now, the reason you want to ask this is on occasion you will hear, this is our quarterly meeting, or twice a year we have this meeting. You want to know how many opportunities you may have to work with this group. The question number 6 is, how is the decision made regarding speakers? Now again, I'm reaffirming to that person I'm talking to that they have the power, or are going to share with me, everyone who's going to be in on the decision. I want to be able to talk, by the way, to everybody who is in on the decision, maybe even in a way that we're doing it right now. When do you begin planning the meeting? Now, you all know there is a certain lead time. Let's say I called now and they said, we're having a meeting in January, we're going to begin planning it in September. What I'm going to say, and what they will love to hear, by the way, is if I say, it doesn't sound like you're in a planning mode right now. And folks, if they're not in a planning mode right now, they don't want to talk to us. So I want you to get in and out. So I would just say, it doesn't sound like this is imminent. Why don't I back out the door and touch base with you in January when this is on the front burner and you begin planning it? They will love you if you say that. And get their email address and send a short email with a PDF copy of your one sheet just saying, it was great talking to you today. Here's a snapshot of my business I wanted you to have. I look forward to talking to you in January when this is on the front burner to see if I'd be a great fit. But if they are in a decision-making mode, is there a focus or a theme? People love when you use their themes. I mean, you all know that. They just get a kick out of that. Here's a real important question, everybody, and this is a qualifier. Is there a budget I should be aware of? It's the money thing. And inevitably, when you say, is there a budget I should be aware of, you're going to hear back, what is your fee? We have to bring up money, and I bring it up early because I don't want to go down a road where people end up not having any money, and I've spent all this time sending stuff back and forth. So we want to ascertain if they have money. And so they'll ask for your fee. And I always say your fee joyfully, confidently, and expectantly. And so say, you know, X amount of dollars plus travel expenses, is that a fit? And say it right away, is that a fit? And then the last question, number 10, is kind of a closure question, if you will. Is there anything else you need from me in order to decide whether I'd be a perfect fit for that meeting? And what you may hear here is we'd like to schedule a conference call, maybe a Google Hangout with the executive committee, whatever it is. But those are the kinds of questions that you need in order to ascertain fit for a prospect. And if you do this, I have a little system I call the 3 M's, and the 3 M's stand for meeting, second M, money, third M, motive. Meeting, money, motive. Meeting means they do have a meeting date. Money means they have my fee. And motive means they've had someone like me before, or even if they haven't, they seem very interested in using a program like mine. And if you ask all the questions, my 10 questions, you will know how many M's they have. If they have all 3, that's a highest level prospect, level 1. If they have any 2 out of the 3, for example, maybe they have a meeting date and they have the money, but they just haven't decided what they want the meeting to be about. So the motive is still out there. That's a level 2, 2 M's. Level 3 typically is 1 M, and that means they have meetings, but they don't have anything coming up. So we're not going to go into specifics. And 1 M is your lowest priority. And, you know, let me add and tell you from experience, the people who we classify with 1 M are also the people who will suck the life and time out of your business if you let them. So don't let them. You want to spend the appropriate amount of time with the people who are going to spend money with you. And that qualifying system, by the way, is so easy. I think it's why so many people use it. It's very, very easy. So I want you to work on your positioning statement, which is the foundation of your business. I want you to go over a 1-sheet, the different compartments of a 1-sheet. You can use mine as an example, but definitely do it. And then third, I want you to go over the 10 questions to book more business and qualifying. And I think if you do those things, you're going to make your life much more easier as you proactively go after business. And I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have. Yay!
Yay! Hi, Lois.
How are you?
Okay? How are you? I'm very well, thanks. My name's Lorna McCallum.
Position statement.
Positioning statement! It's not my positioning statement. I had a question about your speaker 1 sheet.
Yes.
What do you do if you don't have any testimonials yet?
Great question.
Great question.
then where I have the testimonials, you may want to put some of the stuff from the back of the sheet. So you might want to put make sure you have a full listing of social media addresses and all of your contact information. You may want to just do a one-sided one sheet at this point. And then in that part where the testimonials are, put your social media addresses, and you can make that little blurb I wrote a little bit longer. Use up that space that way. Thank you.
Oh, you guys, to prevent the echo when after the person's asked their question, I'm muting the room there again. So, Stuart, if you could keep unmuting so that they can ask questions and so that we can interact.
That way. Terry, the problem over here is too many people don't use Macs. You need to talk to them.
Can you believe that Scotland don't have a Mac computer? Well, not all of us. Lois, my question is about the...
Terry, you're muted.
Having worked with somebody before, if you're brand new to an area of work, so you have the skills and experience, but not work with that client group, how can you come across as credible to that client group?
Really, I think you're talking about how you're working with an industry you have no experience.
Have these skills and experience, not with that particular client group.
Yes. Well, you really approach it as if you do, quite frankly, because I want you to think about it. Think about it this way. Think about it in a little bit of a different way than you're thinking about it. You are bringing them new knowledge for them to apply, for them to be able to apply in their specific business. They want to know what you know. Now, you're going to do a little homework before you work with anybody to know a little bit about the company, and that's going to be helpful for you. Everyone should have a pre-programmed questionnaire. If you don't, email me, and I'll send you mine. And you can use it to change it, use it, abuse it, whatever you want to do with it. But you ought to use a pre-programmed questionnaire. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Lois, we have had some questions come in from the group. So while we're waiting for any other questions from the room there, let me mute that. And let's see, here's a question. Do you monitor how many people scan your QR codes? And would you also give the URL for those who don't have QR code scanners?
Yes, you can do that. No, I do not monitor. You can. There are some apps that you can download, Android or iPhone or any type, that you can download that'll do that. I don't. I put these on the back of a one sheet because I did a program for the NSA convention, and I just wanted to introduce the ideas of speakers using QR codes and how they could use them in a dynamic way. But you don't even have to put a QR code if you just want to put the link.
Okay, and another question from someone here says, what's the biggest mistake people make on their one sheets?
Sneezing here.
While she's sneezing, let me just say that if you post your question publicly, I will announce your name. If you post it privately, I'm not going to announce your name. I'm assuming that you want privacy, so that's why I'm not mentioning your name.
Okay, thanks, Gina. The biggest mistake people make on one sheets, the biggest mistake is they talk too much about themselves. It's too biographical. And they don't talk enough about the prospect, about the client. In fact, I have a little exercise that I like to run people through when I'm working with them on their one sheet. If they give me a one sheet and they say, I just love this, I tell them to get a pink marker and a yellow marker. Mark yellow that is everything about you. Mark pink everything that is about the client. And most of the time you'll find too much yellow. It's too much self-talk. If you look at mine, you're going to realize mine is a very outward focused one sheet. It's all about what they're going to be able to walk away with, positioning myself as to what service I can deliver and what they're going to walk away, what tactics, tools, and tips they can walk away and apply to their businesses right away. That's the essence of mine. So don't be, and the reality is, I said before, people care more about what you can do for them right now than what you've done in the past. So don't put a long biography on this. Save that for a longer biography on your website. But that's the #1 mistake. And another mistake is not having a positioning statement at all. And you make your life much harder if you don't do that.
Well, as we transition over to Terry, Lois, perhaps you could, oops, getting the echo there, but perhaps you could grab that article that you mentioned and put it on the chat. I couldn't find the specific one that you were looking for.
If I sent it to you, Gina, while Terry's doing his program, I emailed it to you. Maybe you could put it up there.
Sure.
I'll do that, everybody. I'll do that.
Cheers. Thanks very much for that, Lois. That's a huge help for guys over here, and I'm sure for everybody online. So can everybody just and I'm sure people are sitting in front of their computers clapping as well, so that's good. Thank you. We've already got a hashtag coming up. Gina's already shared the hashtag PSA Scotland. So please jump on and say how wonderful Lois has been. Terry, not so much. And how handsome am I? Because people don't believe it. So please add to the hashtag as well. What we'll also do is we'll create something on the NSA page on Facebook, so we can continue this dialogue as well. In case you've got any more questions, Lois never does any work. She's the same as me, so she's on Facebook as much as I am. Terry obviously gets some work every now and again because we only see him once a week. So please continue the conversation on there. If you get any more questions for Lois, I'm sure she'll be more than happy to share that with you. Now we've got a young gentleman, and just looking at him, he actually looks like he could be my younger brother. And he's standing there, suited and booted. That's the smartest I've ever seen you, Terry. So what we'll do, we'll hand the evening over to you for the next 45 minutes, and then that'll leave us maybe 10 minutes at the end to catch up. But please, guys, feel free to ask any other questions as we're going through the evening, but we'll build in some time at the end of the night as well. Terry, the floor is yours, sir.
Very well, thank you. And first of all, I want to make sure that my mic is coming through. Can you hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. If you can hear me, that's fine. I think we're doing fine there. That is good. And so we will do that. I'm going to cut back here and work with this. We were concerned about the feedback, but I think it is working fine. Lois, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and Gina, I'm coming through for you as well?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, by the way, this is exciting. Didn't Lois do a great job? Those of you that are in the room there, let's give her a round of applause. And those of you that are watching via video, you can applaud. And if you're watching the recording, you can applaud her too. That way, it'll be good. We'll blend all of them in together. And by the way, we're here in Orlando, Florida. It is now 15:03 in the afternoon here. And matter of fact, I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like right now in Orlando, Florida. As we look out and you see the lake. And you can see a few puffy white clouds out there right now. Temperature is about 73, 74 degrees right now. And it's a wonderful, beautiful day. So we're having some fun. And I'm going to present to you several things that are happening with technology and how we're using what we're doing. But also, since it's just us here, I'm going to also kind of let you watch between the lines, read between the lines, listen between the lines to see what I'm doing. I am moving around, by the way. You can see one of the things I've done is I'm using this lavalier microphone here that is plugged into my computer. and I'm able to move around so that I'm, first of all, standing. That helps, as you know, with energy. I'm finding that that is a really good thing. It takes a little extra work. And for those of you that are presenting webinars right now, good for you. And when you can, try to stand, move around. You can have some fun this way. Don't do it too fast, because notice what happens if I do it too fast. It can get very blurry. So we've got to be careful and understand the technology of it as well as the potential. Because think about what we're doing right now. You are living at a time that you have more opportunity than ever before. It's like you've got your own television set, television station, and broadcast network right now. We are broadcasting right now to the entire world. It can go out there to anyone that can click on a YouTube link. Think about the potential for that. And you can send out your message now to the whole world, but it's even better than if, say, 10 years, 20 years ago, you owned a television network, because people can get this on demand. Whenever they want, they can tune in and get it. Not only do they have the opportunity to get it live, but also later. And that's why we're using this right now. Well, I'm going to do something right now for you. I want to share my screen. It's a little feature that we've already used when Lois was making the presentation, where I click a couple of buttons here on this, and it gives me the ability to share my screen. And I'm going to bounce over here to the keynote slides that I have. Many of you will recognize this, and I can hear you. I cannot see you now. So if you can see my slides, we start with Terry Brock and Lois Kramer, Building a Successful Thought Leader Business. If you see that, those of you there in Glasgow, Scotland, please give me a round of applause on that so I can hear that you're getting it through. And I think they might be muted, though.
They are muted. And Terry, if I could just remind everyone that if they're having trouble seeing you or your slides, if they will hover over and click on your film strip at the bottom, the one for Terry, it has a little green arrow at the top right now, and actually you might be seeing me. If they will click on that, for some reason, Lois, your picture's coming through, even though I don't have you white box. So could you, and I can't seem to mute you, could you mute yourself, please? And maybe that will make it default more to Terry. It might just be something on my end, but Terry, I just want to remind everybody to do that.
Okay, great, and thank you very much for that. And by the way, the hashtag that we want to use for today, very important, is hashtag PSA Scotland. Notice the PSAS at the beginning of that is capitalized. So use that, and you can tell people about your experience. If you're joining us by recording, by all means, we want to hear from you too as well. Even though we have recorded this, you're watching a recording, so we did it sometime before, you're able to tie in, and that way we can connect even over time. But we're connecting right now over geography, where people are able to join us on this that are registered in the United States, in Scotland, the UK, Canada, Australia, India, and other countries as well. So we're going to cover a lot. And you see what we're talking about is worldwide connections today. The world has changed dramatically. But I love the way Drucker said it. We now accept the fact that learning is a lifelong, circle that one and red flag it, lifelong process of keeping abreast of change. And the most pressing task is to teach people how to learn. As you can learn how to learn and teach yourself and others, you will do very well. Our world is changing in professional speaking with a tough economy worldwide. We just read the news and see that. But select niches are very good. And that's what I want to stress to you as we're using this Google Plus Hangout in tools like this. Even if the economy is not doing as well where you are on that little piece of dirt, wherever you happen to be born or there, that piece of dirt really doesn't matter. Centuries ago, it might have. Today, it's a different world. And we're seeing change for many in the delivery and the frequency. Now, by using this, the delivery methods change. They have tight budgets. Well, it's a tough thing, and travel is becoming more of a hassle than ever before. By using this technology, we can get way ahead of it. The technology can be frustrating, but I would say stay with it and work through it, because the old model is changing. Before, it was only done with stand-up training. You present, maybe you use a whiteboard or a blackboard or something like that. Today, it's quite different, and the opportunities are better than ever. Yes, we still have the opportunity to speak, but now, like we're doing today, using the technology and video conferencing, we can do it very easily. Putting a little webcam on your computer can let you get out there. You can still talk using that as well, and teleconferencing, using a telepresence option, you have that ability to really go far with it. And today, business is about you being a resource. You want to be the resource for people. I think that's really, really important that they see you as more than just a speaker. Because are we speakers? Well, yeah, but not exclusively. Often if we define ourselves as a speaker, we're going to miss out. So we want to define ourselves as, well, a little bit more. I like to think of ourselves as communicators and problem solvers. Write that one down if you're taking notes on this, and if you're not, you should be. Communicators and problem solvers. You want to make sure that people see you as the solution for what they're going through. Oh, and by the way, those of you, here's a little picture, some of you might recognize, some of you might not. Those of you that are under age 30, this was called a telephone. We actually used that to call people and talk to them. It really was. And those little things there, the numbers you see, those weren't push buttons. You had to actually dial it. It's a really cool little thing. You put your finger in there, roll it over, and then it would go like that. And we got really excited about it. But even back then, with this, it worked pretty well. But now, you couldn't get Facebook on it, and it did not give you tweets. So you couldn't use it for that. But you could communicate with people. And that is where we are today. We're communicating. We just use different tools, and that's the importance. Today, most important is that relationship marketing and the social media, connecting with people and relationships, building those relationships. The power really is to the individual. Think about it. One person today, armed with a mobile phone, a cell phone, that person is able to reach the world if you do it right. You can send out a message that millions of people will see. So it's really the power to the individual. I love the way that John Kerry said it, the Secretary of State of the United States. He said, the internet makes it very difficult to govern. And I'm going, yes, absolutely. We maybe don't need those governments as much as we did before. And maybe we could look at some other creative ideas to peacefully interact with each other and peacefully be able to get along. Power to the individual for sure. Now with social media, you want to focus on what we call the big four: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Particularly YouTube if you are a speaker and a communicator. We like video very much. And so you want to use that extensively. Let that video be there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come out of here for just a moment and stop this and come back on the screen with me, so that you should see me on the screen right now. Matter of fact, those of you that are there, raise your hand. I can't hear you, but raise your hand if you can see me on the screen now. Those of you there, I think that is you. I'm going to see if we can do that. Keep those hands up. Yes, okay, you can. Great. I'm bouncing back and forth here. We're using that. But we can go back and forth. And now by using something like YouTube, many people are doing that now. I've been using YouTube since 2006. And I started doing it then, said, really, this is where the world is going. You want to use that, but not exclusively YouTube. It's the biggest one out there. But using other tools like Vimeo, maybe Blip TV, or some others that are available, more proprietary tools, you can do it. And even lately, Facebook. Using video on Facebook is helping to reach people and communicate your message. I like the idea of putting a video on YouTube and then coding that and putting it into Facebook. I think there's an advantage because you're getting both there. There are those that say, wait a minute, it's better to do it only on Facebook because sometimes it's a little bit glitchy or kludgy when you put it there. I tend to think that we've got to look at whatever works. Focus on being pragmatic. William James would be proud. And if you have not read William James's work on pragmatism, read it. Great little book on that. So those are some of the things you can do. Focus on that YouTube and work with that. I'm going to go back here to sharing my screen, let you see my PowerPoint, or actually Keynote slide right now as we go through this. Another real important tool today is Clout. And Gina and I, of course, wrote a book on that called Clout Matters. And it is a way to measure how effective you are in social media according to the scale that they have. It's a great way to find out how you're doing. And I think it's something that is nice, kind of like Peer Index, Cred, Apinions, and more. These are other tools and competitors there. But it's utilizing big data. And this is critical. Write those words down, big data. If you haven't looked into that or haven't seen it yet, do a Google search on that. You'll see that it's a way for us to make decisions better, to direct where we're going and what is happening in our world. Klout uses that in a quantitative way to compare how you're doing. Go over to klout.com, K-L-O-U-T, that's with a K, .com, and connect the various networks that you're using. You'll get a chance to see how you're doing. And then the most important thing, we talk about this in our book over and over, is to engage with people. Write those words down. That is most important today in social media. And for Klout, it lets you see how you're doing. You want to engage with people. Connect with them. Answer their questions. Don't look at social media as a one-way street from you blasting a message out to people. This is something we saw that worked really effectively. In full disclosure, one of the clients I worked with for quite a while was AT&T, the big telecommunications firm here in the United States. I was the editor-in-chief for their networking exchange blog. It was their largest and most successful award-winning blog. We had 100 authors talking about mobility, cloud computing, security, social media, etc. And I don't say that to say, oh, wow, I'm really cool, but to say, wait a minute, this is what we did. And we needed to make money. We needed to sell. By using social media right, we did all right. Sales for AT&T as a result of using what I call R-commerce or relationship commerce principles. I remember one sale coming through directly as a result of what we did with our blog and with social media. The blog I was there in charge of, $800 million in sales. Not too bad. Now, Stuart Harris, I know for you that's just mere pocket change, but for the rest of us, you know, that's a lot of money there. And 900 million was another one, but one that I'm particularly proud of, $1.3 billion in sales as a direct result of starting it with our blog and with social media. This stuff works. It is serious business, and you want to learn this, and you want to pay attention to what it does and how it can help you. And matter of fact, here's a video I put together I wanted to share with you that talks about how this was used effectively with a major motion picture that was not doing well. They embraced certain principles of Twitter, and they shot it to the #1 category, a #1 spot in its category for all time. Go over to http://tinyurl.com/ and then as one word, Twitter for sales. Notice that's all lowercase, Twitter, the 4, sales. And if you missed that, hey, those of you that are watching this on video, you can pause and you can write that down. You can bounce over. It's about a short 4-minute or so video where I describe an article in the Wall Street Journal that illustrated what they did. This is a little video I wanted to give you to help you out as you move forward. Well, now as we look at video for speakers, this is a major, major thing. As a matter of fact, I want to find out from you right now. I'm bouncing back over here. I'm going to stop my screen sharing. And for those of you that are in the audience, I'm looking out at you right now in the audience. If you are using video right now, please raise your hand. If you're using video in some form, I see a few hands going up. Stuart, of course you are. Penny, I see you there in the back. There, you want your hand up? Yes, several of you. Good for you. I'm applauding you on what you're doing because video is critically important. Right now, we as speakers, think about it. You speak and you want people to see what you're doing. You want them to hear what you're doing. Audio and video is a natural if you are a professional speaker. And we use it for a whole lot more than just TV. I mean, it's for everything right now. It reminds me, matter of fact, I remember when I was in St. Petersburg, Russia, walking down the Nevsky Prospect, the main drag there in St. Petersburg, Russia, Nevsky Prospect, and I saw a store, had a big sign up there that said, vodka, it's not just for breakfast anymore. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's true, kind of like video. It's not just for TV anymore. It's a whole lot more than that. And matter of fact, if we look at the kinds of things that are being done with it, there's some enormous opportunities for you as a thought leader to be able to use this. Let's take a look at some of these right now. As we look at it, I see 2 key areas. One is the content communication, which is live and on demand. That's what we're doing right now. We are creating content. Lois Kramer and me talking to you, we are giving you some content that you will be able to use. You're getting some good information, and it's going to be on demand. And another way you can use this is marketing and promotional material. Think about it. You can offer content and then also have something that you want to make available to people. You can put that out there and let people see what is available and what it is like. And matter of fact, to do that effectively, Gina, I'm going to ask you to help out on something here. I'm going to stop screen sharing. And I told you that I had a problem right now for some reason with using the webinar jam. It's not coming through. But Gina, I think if you're there, would you do us a favor and bring up that promotional piece that I had? We have one, and the promotional piece for this one is a promotion for the PSA Foundation. That's who our product is, our sales that we've got right now. We want to be able to put that through and be able to let that be seen on there so that you can do it. And we're encouraging everyone to do something. If you'll work with us on this, to go over to the link that we've set up for the PSA Foundation and to contribute £5. That's all. £5 sterling. If you want to give more, that's fine too. But at least do that much. It's not much. Those of you in the United States, that's less than $10 easily. You'll be able to put that in there. And the reason we want to do it is for a few reasons. Number one, you're going to benefit those who are receiving the money very worthy in the foundation. And secondly, you're going to get a chance to see how that works, and what's going on and what's happening with it, so that in the future, when you have your own products that you want to sell to your clients, to others, you'll get a chance to see that process. I think Gina has stepped away from the computer for a moment now. Oh, are you there, Gina?
I'm here, yes, and I have shared the link in the pop-ins. So you guys, it probably did pop up for you and replace the chat, but if it didn't, you can click the little tab up to the top right. It should be called pop-ins, and you can see the link to the link right there where we're suggesting that you go.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Gina. So I want you to see the technology of this and go along with it. You know, contribute £5. That's what we ask. And if you want to say, hey, I'm going to make it more than that, that's wonderful. It's going to a very worthy cause. But we want everyone watching this to do that. It'll be kind of the way, I'm going to put this in quotes here, you pay for it. We're not getting a dime of it. A dime would be a dime, not even a shekel. Not getting anything, and we don't want anything. This all goes to PSA Foundation. So it'll be there. And a question from there in Glasgow.
No, Terry, I was just switching the mic on just to thank you for the prop up there for the support of the Professional Speaker Foundation. It's fantastic to do brilliant work, and there's loads of donations go in all the time, and we can really help out speakers who have maybe been ill, they're off work, they're not able to earn and what they do. Not just because they've had a quiet month, but just really when they're in need. So really do appreciate that. And anything, you guys are all watching 2 hours worth of great content. So anything that you can contribute just as conscience money, we will take it. Trust me. Thank you very much. Back to you, Terry.
I love it. Thank you, Stuart. That is good. And seriously, those of you that are watching this on time delay, you're catching it at a later time and recording, we'd like you to do that as well. Make sure and go over to the PSA Foundation. You'll be able to put that in. That's a PSA UK over in PSA or professionalspeaking.co.uk. And I might be wrong on that, but you can check on it. And I want to thank also Alan Stevens from the Professional Speakers Speaking Association over there, who helped to direct to make this happen, and Peter Roper, who helped out working with that, Mike Ogilvy and Graham Jones. 4 guys that are wonderful people putting together a lot of effort, and so thank you for that. And so again, if you're watching this, £5, you'll see what it's like. You'll get a chance to see what's happening and how these things work. So I'm going to go back here and go, jump
Terry,
back into
before you do that, we did have a couple of questions from the audience. Would you like to take a couple of questions right now?
Yes, thank you for doing that. Gina interrupts me every so often, and usually it's really, really good. I've learned on that. It's very good information. So Gina, could you read those questions, please?
Annabelle K. has asked, what should a speaker's CLOT score ideally be?
As high as possible. How's that, Annabelle? But no, what you want to do is, it's on a 0 to 100 scale. If you have a score of around 40, we heard when we wrote our book, we went out to Clout headquarters in San Francisco, we talked to the CEO and president, the founder of that, Joe Fernandez, and he said 40 is about normal. Now, for those that are thought leaders, though, you want to aim for a score of around 60 or higher. Now, you start getting into the 70s and 80s, it's getting into an area where, woo, that's getting nice. And in the 90s, you have to be some type of a celebrity that is well known in the media. But if you're in the 60s or 70s as a speaker, that is a good place for you to be. And Annabelle, thank you very much for asking that question.
Okay, and one more, a private question. We get this one a lot when we speak, is which is more important, a Facebook personal profile or a business page?
That's important because it depends on what you're doing. One of my clients, I worked with a while back, is Chevron. Chevron, in particular, their lubricants division. They sell a lot of oil for big machinery and things like that. And they said, gee, should we do something? Well, of course, they would have a Facebook page because it's Chevron. It's there. Other clients that we have are working on that. Skype, for instance, when I was working with Skype, we would have a Facebook page. But now the profile is more personal. That is something for you. However, if you're a professional speaker, if you are an author, you really want to make that profile more than a page your emphasis. You can only use one, by the way, to help your clout score. If you try to put both in there, it goes, can't do that. I wish they'd change that, but no, you can only use one. So here's my recommendation. For most businesses, maybe it's a mom and pop retail store, you want a page. For a professional speaker, you want your profile. And treat that kind of as more than just personal for family and friends. It's going to be about business. There's a real merging that comes together. It's one of the non-technical but important sociological and psychological issues we're dealing with today. Where does our personal life stop? Where does the professional life start? As an example, I'm going to share this with you real intimately right here. You are in my study right now. Think about it. I am opening up to the entire world, literally, that is not hyperbole, literally to the world, and this is my study. You're seeing the books that I have. Oh, and by the way, do you see one of the things here? I'm going to point to this right here. Does anyone notice that little flag right there? We have moved it. That one, of course, is the Scottish flag. And Stuart Harris was telling me you can only fly that when the Queen's here. But in America, we love Scotland, and we'll fly it anytime we want to. So we can put it out there, and I put my flags there. But think about where we are today. Because of the way technology has changed, people are now able to get a much more intimate and close view of who you are. There are no secrets. There are no more privacy about what we have. Now that creates a whole nother ramification of what we can do, what we can't do, what you should and shouldn't do online. That will be for another time and another discussion. But for right now, just realize this is major tectonic shifts that we are seeing in the world today. Technology has brought it about, and it's not just technology. It is now about social means, social ramifications, privacy, very personal, financial. The opportunities are enormous. You can make money from just about anywhere in the world. Someone in Outers Lubuvia, a wonderful place to visit, Outers Lubuvia can get in touch with you and send you money. They just send it to PayPal. It converts it from their currency into yours, and then goes nicely into your bank account. I'm doing that kind of thing all the time. We think internationally. Personally, I was born in the Midwest in the United States of America, but I'm not limited to that piece of dirt based on lines that somebody drew in the sand and on this piece of dirt and over there and that piece of dirt years and years ago. I am a free person. I can operate internationally just like you can. Think in a 21st century way of doing it, not in the 19th century or 17th or 16th century way of doing things. So our world is different today. It is changing dramatically, and a lot of opportunities are out there. So I want to make sure that we understand those important concepts. Let me shift back over here to my slides, and you can see it. And so like I mentioned, video, it's not just for TV anymore. It's a whole different world now, and we're seeing a lot of capabilities. For a video presentation, it can be a part of your integrated, comprehensive relationship building strategy. Put video in as a priority for what you're doing. Now, it doesn't mean we throw away text. It doesn't mean we throw away audio only or stand-up training, but video now is an integral part of what you should be doing. And using Skype is critical. I use it extensively. Matter of fact, using it for Skype presentations. Here's one that I did a while back for a group, and as I was coming across the screen there, just like I'm doing now using Google Plus Hangout for you, there in Scotland, we have that available, and people can see that. You can use it in video conferencing for business. Using Skype gives you the ability to be in more than one place at once. Now, when you look at Skype, it's got a lot of capabilities for presentations that you'll make. It also is very good for budget-conscious clients. This means you can save them, of course, the cost of travel. And what you might do is on a per presentation basis, be able to give them a better bargain and for you to get more money. Instead of doing just one presentation, you might do 2 or 3. I've done this before where I offer multiple presentations for someone. For me, it's nice I don't have to travel. For them, it's nice they're getting even more value, and they get it at a lower cost per presentation than just one time bringing me out. The physical presence combined with ongoing meetings can be helpful. Doesn't mean we're not going to meet in person. There's still a value to that. Stuart, I still remember the time that you and Kenny and me and Sean Weafer, we sat down and we shared a few pints. I think we had 1 or 2 maybe, but we shared some wonderful times, and those memories we will always have. There's something magic about physical presence being there. But combine that now with the ongoing meetings that we have, and it gives us even more. A lot of times we'll do point-to-point presentations. Lois Kramer does a lot of consultations with people, and now she is moving in the direction of using Skype, Google Plus Hangouts, and probably some other technologies too. Knowing Lois, she'll be able to use this to help people wherever they are in the world. You've seen what she does today. If you want to get even more information, that is available. And be willing to part with some time, some money, and some energy to say, hey, I want to buy an hour of your time, and I want to talk with you face to face. I want to see you and do it over Skype. You both win and get a lot more that way. And also, you want to keep Skype as a possibility just in case. Sometimes weather, sometimes mechanical, sometimes other things come up, and they prevent you from physically being at that meeting where you were contracted to be. Skype is a good tool to kind of keep there in your hip pocket, ready to go just in case. And it's another way to bring in experts. One of the reasons we wanted to do what we're doing today, I'll bounce back over here and talk to you live and direct on this one. One of the reasons we wanted to do what we're doing today is you get a chance to see Lois right there in her home in St. Louis, Missouri. You're seeing me and Gina right here in our place in Orlando, Florida. We are here right now. Think about it. You as a speaker could bring in Sally Smith and Mary Jones, 2 experts on the Oogie Woogie industry, and you bring them in. They're talking about the Oogie Woogie and the new developments, and Sally has a little different view than Mary on this topic. You can act as a moderator and bring them in for the meeting. Maybe you're right there live at the meeting and you're bringing them in, or you're doing it from your home and sending it out on a live broadcast to your client and all of their members scattered around a country, around countries, around the world. The enormous revenue generating opportunities are phenomenal. I am excited. Actually, I gotta congratulate you. You picked a really good time to be born, because they didn't have this centuries ago, and you picked a good time to come around and be here. So think about ways you can use that as well. There's a tremendous amount of options and possibilities as you work with this and get good at it and start working with it. Also, think about this. This is important. Lois and I were talking about this earlier today. It's a different skill set required. Think radio versus TV, keynote for a large group versus a conference room presentation. You need to develop some different skills to present on video than you had before with standing up in front of a live group. A little bit different. And these are some of the things we tapped into. Matter of fact, let me just share, this is what I did. I was the former, I am the former chief enterprise blogger for Skype. Skype saw what I was doing. They were passing my videos around the world, and it was kind of fun when they gave me a call and they said, Terry, this was a few years ago, Terry, we watch what you're doing. We're passing your videos around the world. Nobody's doing what you're doing. We want you to show us how. And I said, well, you know, for the right price, we can work something out. And here's what we did. I put this together for them. This is the actual Skype blog at that time. And I did an interview with my buddy Dan Burris and had him interview me. I interviewed him about some things. We kind of went back and forth. And this is the actual blog there. Here's another one with my friend Chris Brogan. I talked with Chris Brogan about some technology, what's going on, and we did that. Notice you'll see in the lower right corner of that, it says YouTube. I put this on YouTube, then we blended it into the enterprise blog on Skype. So we have at Skype at the time, we had 43 million active customers every month. 43 million a month that were there, and so they were able to see this, activate this blog, and start working with it to see, you know, some real ways to make money. And here's some others. By the way, there's Chris Brogan again, because the first time I was going to interview him, he interviewed me. Then I said, well, I also want to interview you, so I called him, and that's Chris and his home, and we did that, and then some other people that we did. But I want you to kind of read between the lines and watch between the lines on this. This is what I have done. I want you to look at that and go, okay, It's possible to do this now. Figure out how to do it. Your income can be profoundly impacted for the positive by thinking internationally, opening up your mind to new technologies that are there that maybe you haven't touched on yet. And I'm not going to stand for any of that, oh, I can't do technology. If I hear that once more, I'm going to have to come out and slap somebody. It'd be a very unlibertarian thing to do, so probably couldn't do it anyway. But what you want to do is stretch your mind. Think about what's possible. Oh, and by the way, Skype is now owned by Microsoft. They were not when I came on board. Matter of fact, when I came on board, they were valued at about $2 billion by Silver Lake Partners. $2 billion, which is a lot of money. Obviously, Microsoft must have heard that I was working with Skype, and they came along and bought Skype for $8.2 billion. I don't know if there's a correlation there, but I'm thinking the facts pretty much speak for themselves. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yes, Skype is now with Microsoft, and they're doing some amazing things still with that. Here's another technology. Write this one down. It's one that I have seen, and thanks to my buddy Wayne Berry out in Australia. They're in Melbourne, Australia. And Wayne, you might be watching this. Hello, hope you're doing well. He introduced me to this even more. I'd heard of it, had used it a little bit before. It's called Zoom.us. It takes video conferencing to yet another level. It has a different payment structure. There's a free version, and then there's a $10 a month and I think a $25 a month version. But you can find that at Zoom.us. Go over there, take a look at it. I'm very impressed with it, and I'm just sharing as someone who works with technology regularly what I'm doing what I'm experiencing right now. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot I put this in here. Here is their plans and pricing. Yeah, I built that in the slide there. They have a basic for free, then they have a pro for $9.99, or for $49.95 if you want to have 100 or 200 participants. For a business plan, $14.99, about $15 a month for up to 25 participants. And if you want to go beyond that for 100 or 200, then it's $55 roughly, $54.99, $55, and you can see what's there. But I would encourage you to just write that down, take a peek at it. I am not selling this. They're not giving me anything, although they should. But it's just between me as a user sharing it with you. And of course, today we are using Google Plus Hangouts with a feature called Webinar Jam that is on top of this. We've got Webinar Jam. A new version has come out called Webinar Jam Studio that I have. We're going to be working on that more and more later. For those that are in touch with us and working with us in our programs and our coaching, we'll be talking about those kind of things. But for you watching this right now, think about Google Plus Hangouts. Get the knowledge of how to do it. It takes a little bit of work. Anything worthwhile does. It's going to take a little bit of working with it, but get somebody that can help you. Somebody that can say, do this, no, don't do that, and we found it works better if you do it this way. That's a real key to it. Here's something I did. This is actual work that I did. Two people that you might not recognize, Woody Woodall and Denny Mann. These two guys were people in a company called the Unified Group. They still are there. It's a group of people that do wonderful things for their clients. These two guys are well known in that industry. And I brought them on board and talked to them about what was going on in the industry. They were just marvelous. They had not seen Google Plus Hangouts ever before. They didn't know anything about it. I showed them what to do with a couple meetings beforehand. I showed them how to get the video set up, how to make it happen, worked with it. It was a huge hit. Because then when we talked to these two people, it went out live and direct as a television show to everyone that wanted to access it for that group. They could do it, and they talked about certain techniques that are working, certain things that are not working in their industry, and how they could use it. I want you, my fellow speaker friends and colleagues who are in professional speaking, I want you to think about what you can do with this. The technology is there for you to access this and to start working with it. And it gives you the ability to access the world literally using Google Plus Hangouts, Skype, Zoom.us, and who knows what's going to come later. They are always coming out with new things. You want to make sure that you embrace it and you do it for business. And I like the idea of being able to reach out there and assist others and to be able to work with them, giving them what they need in exchange for value that you will receive. And so that's the way the world works best. Well, I'm going to pause here for a moment for any questions that we have for those of you that are in Glasgow, any questions that might have come in online or any comments or suggestions. And Gina, I'm going to leave that up to you to handle that and help me on any questions or items that I need to be aware of.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for people to come up to the microphone or come up to ask questions there live, we have a question of any pros and cons about using Skype versus Google Hangouts.
There's, I think they're each uniquely good in certain areas and not as good in others. I particularly like Google Plus Hangouts because it gives you the ability, to, like we're doing right now, broadcast this to the world. People would be able to get it through YouTube as well, and that gives a real benefit. Skype tends to be a little bit easier to use, at least when you're first getting started. You only have a certain number of people, but it works very well for that. And so I would say work with both. To me, it's not either or. It's both and, but also I put in there, I'm looking at zoom.us. Thanks to Wayne Berry out in Melbourne, Australia. He helped me enormously with that, and I want to look into it even more. And I think I see someone standing there in Glasgow that has a question. What is your name, sir? I'm sorry, say that again. You're muted out there.
I think now you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, I can. My name is David Calder, and I'm just wondering how important you think it is that you've got Gina handling some of the technology, that when you're a professional speaker, you actually concentrate on your speaking and have someone else look after the tools, or the toys, so to speak.
David, that is an excellent question, and I would say yes. What you want to do ideally is that you have someone who can handle some of the oops and the glitches and the technical side. If you can, that's a good thing. It's not a must. You can do it. I've done it before on my own. Gina has done it before on her own as well. But we both have worked with it enough. But I also realize that it's much better if I can focus on, like, my slides. Did you notice, by the way, here we are kind of reading between the lines. I would jump back and forth between sharing the screen and then presenting here live. That's important so that you don't have just one video on there, just one person talking for 300 hours, or nothing but one slide on there for 300 hours. It's going to get a little bit boring that way. We want the change. We want to go back and forth. And having someone who can monitor everything going on in the background is a really good idea. I would recommend that you have that person, particularly when you're getting started. Have that person standing by. They can be on Google Plus Hangout, and they can be anywhere. Gina happens to be just down the hall from me here in the condo, but she could also be on the other side of the planet. We have done these before when we were getting started, and we had a real big presentation. We launched our book. We had a person standing by in Melbourne, Australia, who was there helping us and taking care of the technology. And there were times when we needed him to come in and take care of a couple things. Did a really good job. So thank you very much for asking that question. David, did you have another question?
Sorry, it is another question, because what I'm thinking about is you've been talking about Google Hangouts, you've been talking about Skype, but would you ever think about using some of the webinar software that's out there, the things from Citrix, the things from Stealth Seminar and so forth?
Yes, those are good. They've been largely better in the past. I think that now we can do it with ourselves easier for a whole lot less cost and get the same kind of functionality and more. Particularly, I'm fascinated with two things I'm sharing with you right now that I know this much about, see, just about that much, and I want to learn more, and that is zoom.us and Webinar Jam Studio. I have that technology. We're going to start working with it right now, and I see that it goes light years ahead of what we've seen with some of those other technologies, you know, GoToWebinar and GoToMeeting and those kind of things. They're okay, but I would rather go with something that is free. By the way, is free in the budget for you? You know, that would be important, and be able to do even more and have more capability and more technology available. Brilliant. And by the way, Stuart, how are we doing on time? I see we've got about a minute and a half left according to our schedule. Stuart, I'm going to ask you to step in on that. What do we? How are we doing? I think you're still muted there, Stuart.
Yeah.
Yes, here we are.
Yeah, I think we're fine as far as questions are here concerned. Guys, have you got any questions you want to ask about technology? Jerry, we just got a great question from one of the guys in the room. Obviously, the people, the movers and the shakers nowadays use Apple, no question. But some people still have old coal-fired laptops. What's your take on the technology side of things? Whether you're using an external webcam, external microphones, Camtasia, ScreenFlow, even the editing side of things. If you're going to take something off and record it and edit it and chunk it up and do, what's your take on that?
Yeah, what I like to use, I can talk about what I'm using personally. I'm using my MacBook Pro. That's what I'm doing right now, looking into my MacBook Pro and using that. Gina has a MacBook Air, and Lois now has a MacBook Air that she bought just a little while ago. She has a new baby, and let's give her an round of applause on her new one that just arrived, the MacBook Air. It's there. That's important. And for recording it, I use a couple of programs. I love Camtasia Mac. There's a Camtasia Studio that's for those Windows things, and there's also Camtasia Max, or we call it CMac. It is excellent for creating products. You want to make some money, make products that you can sell. CMac or Camtasia Mac is an excellent one. Another one is ScreenFlow. I like it also. They're competitors, and I use them both. I think they're both good. I tend to lean towards CMac, and they cost about $100 US. Not bad. And on the Windows side, Camtasia Studio is by far the premier product to use for recording the screen capture and then creating products from there. And for everyone that's listening to my voice right now, if you're a thought leader, if you are a speaker, an author, a coach, a consultant, you make your money by getting your thoughts to others in the form of a service. This is what you want. You want a product that you can sell when you're not working. You don't want to be paid only by the hour. There's no leverageability in that, even if you're getting a lot of money. By going to a place, they speak, they pay you a lot of money. That's good. Keep doing that, but get some products. Get products that you can develop, you're able to sell, and be able to help others. Highly recommended. And Stuart, it looks like you are muted now. Let's unmute you.
Gina's fingers are faster than mine. One thing that I was going to say, we've talked about doing these things as free webinars or free Google Hangouts or Skype or whatever. You just mentioned there about making money. Now, we are known in Scotland to be quite keen on making money. We're also keen on spending it as well. That's half a problem. But how would you suggest about going from, I'm going to do a freebie, but how do I then take that to market and start charging? Any advice on that?
Yes, thank you very much for asking that. That's most important. Well, that's one of the reasons why we have the ability for you to make a donation to the PSA Foundation. Do this. And we're asking only for £5, so it's not very much at all. Those of you in the United States, less than $10. It'll be easy. In Canada and Australia, do it. But that way, see, what you'll do is we're going to use a model that has been around for several decades, that has made trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars. It's called free television with advertising. And the advertisement will be your product. Just as we put a button in there for the PSA Foundation, you click on that, the PSA Foundation gets a little bit of money. That's good. You want to be able to create your own products, and like we're doing here, give it for free. Let people see it for free. And then put a little option in there so that they can buy a product from you that you produce with something like Google Plus Hangouts. Remember, it's being recorded on YouTube. You can create the video, look at it, and it's already done. As soon as it is done, you flip it over to something that is going to be for pay only, with some steps in the middle. You'll be able to do that, and now you've created a product. You've created something that people will pay you money for. You do it one time really, really well. Make sure you're coming across well, you're speaking well, your slides work, all of that. Use something like Camtasia to go back and edit if you need to. And with very little work on your part, now you've created a product that has zero cost of goods to you and enormous upside to download, for people to download around the world, to make them happy, and for you to make money on it. This is critical, and it's better now than ever before in history. We couldn't do this years ago. Now you can, if you're willing to put in the time, money, and energy to learn how to do it.
Terry, let's see, we do have some questions here. Okay, thanks for muting
Okay,
there.
Stuart, how are we doing on time? I noticed that by our schedule, we're scheduled to 8:45 to close down. We're at 8:49 right now, but I'm willing to keep going. No problem with me. Hey, look, like I said, it's dark there. Look, right out here. Here's a live weather report again from Orlando, Florida. Da, da, da. There it is. It's still blue skies. We're going to do that. Terry's going to run in that in just a little bit when we finish. But most important is your questions and how I can help you. So, Gina, I think you said you had a couple questions coming in.
Yeah, oops, let me mute that over there. There we go. Yeah, it's only 81 degrees here, so hashtag rub it in. Hey, listen, this webinar has produced some results. Annabelle K from London says she has just gotten booked during this webinar to Skype into a Russian conference following this advice that was given this evening. So, yay!
Yeah, and so I would just say, since it's in Russian, очень хорошо, я очень рад сегодня. That means I'm glad in Russian.
Okay, and Jackie, this is Jackie Berry, also England.
Yeah, hi,
Audience
Jackie.
seems to want more and more free. Is it ever possible to be paid for a webinar itself? And Terry, Terry is going to give a good answer to that. Let me just tell you, I've heard Jeff Hazlett say that he got booked. I think his normal fee, $35,000 or so, for a webinar.
Yes, people are paying for webinars. I'm doing it. Just a couple of days ago, I did a webinar where I needed to deliver some very technical information to a group of engineers and scientists scattered around the country and really around the world. And so I did that as a webinar, got paid for it. But I think also look at the option, Jackie, that you can give something for free but have a product that you sell. And let the people know going in, yes, this is how we do it. Hey, we got to pay money. We go to Sainsbury, we go to Tesco. We've got to get money for that food at the grocery store. And so you want to make sure you have a product. And if they go, no, you can't sell anything, and we want you to do it for free, then you might want to think about not working with them that they don't understand value for value. And if they don't understand value for value, wish them well and move along. Gina, I think you're muted now. Any other questions?
Just in case there aren't, while we're bringing up those questions, we had a question in the room from Scott, and one of the things that he was asking was, we talked about clout and your score and where we are on that clout score. Now, Terry, this might be hard for you, but I want you to keep quiet because I want to speak to the expert. Gina, we know that you're the main author for Clout Matters, so could you share some of your knowledge about how do we get that clout score up?
Yeah, let me give you. Thanks for asking. And I'm going to mute you while I'm answering. Here's a few quick tips. I call it the ABCs of how to get your clout score up. A is always be engaging. So you want to be commenting and liking other people's posts, and then out of reciprocity, other people will like and comment on your post. And then when you post something, have a call to action. Say, hey, agree/disagree with this statement. Make it easy for people to click like. Click like if you think this is a great saying, or click like if you like this song, or whatever the sort of thing is. So that's always be engaging. B is be consistent, and this is one of the most important things. Right now I was out of town for a few days at a funeral, and I noticed that my score went down a little bit, but because I wasn't consistent, I wasn't posting as much. So post a little bit every day on your main channel, which the main channels that count for clout score, Facebook and Twitter. Those are the two that count the most. So whichever one you're most active on, make sure you're posting at least a little bit each day. And then finally, connect. One of the mistakes people make is they don't connect all their networks on their cloud account. So go into the cloud account, connect all your networks, and the Facebook personal profile is going to do better than the Facebook page. So I encourage you to, if you have your page connected, I would disconnect that and use your personal profile. It just always does better for the people that we work with, authors and speakers. So connect your Twitter account, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+. Connect them all, whether you're active on them or not. And then connect with the thought leaders that are out there. So thanks for asking, Stuart.
Yes, thank you very much, Stuart. You see how she's brilliant. It's nice to have her around. Helps me a lot. Thank you, Gina. Okay, Stuart, any other questions?
Yeah, I was just about to say, Gina, as well, just purely by accident, your book is just over your left ear.
Yes.
That's a coincidence. I love that product placement.
Okay, shameless plug right here. Available at an Amazon.
I'm happy with the ebook. Thanks very much for that, Gina. That was great. Any final questions from guys in the room?
Yeah.
David, we've got another final question from David in the room, and then we'll let you guys rock and roll and start your day because we're going to the bar.
Yeah, there you go. And you'll be drinking for us too, since we're not drinking yet. So you are under commission to raise a toast toward Orlando. But David, first your question.
Yes, best speak for yourself, Stuart, because we've got to drive.
All right.
This is for Terry. Is there a particular way in which you would actually secure your video so it is not accessible easily to the public if you wanted to sell it? So actually you're putting it behind some kind of paywall. Do you have any recommendations on that?
Yes, what you would do is you would create the video in a private area. I would create it with something like Skype or with Zoom.us. By the way, Zoom records it for you automatically. Skype gives you the ability to record with a third party, something like Camtasia, CMAC, and then you can put it into a place like Vimeo, and you have protected areas where you can keep it safe. Wistia is another good option. There's several options, and matter of fact, if you want some of that, getting ready to put some things together, just drop me an email. I'll be happy to let you know some of the other ways to do it. But I tend to lean more toward having free with a product that is there that people can buy, because that's the way television has shown us they make a lot of money on that. And so having it free and then with a product that they buy, you kind of orient it a little differently, because I'll guarantee you, whatever way you put it in a secret place, one person can buy it, get it, and then make it available for 40 million of their closest friends over in China or somewhere else, where they don't recognize the same copyright laws that you and I do. And so you can't really fight all of that, but you can think in terms of how to make money on it, even if they take it from you. And I think we have another question, David. Okay, thank you. Great. Well, now before we leave, one thing I wanted to do is also, Stuart, with your permission, to have Lois Kramer join us again for any closing remarks or comments, anything that Lois wants to say, because whenever Lois has got something to say, I want to hear it. Lois?
Yeah, I've got just another couple hours of content I'd like to share with everybody. No, I just want to say this has been such a fun experience, and what an honor to be with you, Stuart, and all of my new friends in Scotland and all over the world, people who are joining us all over the world. This has been an absolute wonderful experience for me. I'd like to also, I have to thank Terry, who has really walked me through this, given me some advice. I've spent a hell of a lot of money on the advice he gave me, but it's really set me up to be able to do a lot of the things he was talking to you about, to really be able to make some money on this. Starting tomorrow, I am using this for my one-on-one consulting. And I know that it's going to be more effective that way. So I just want to say, please don't hesitate to email me, contact me if I can help you in any way. If you have any questions, I will be following the Facebook PSA Scotland page. And so I will be looking for any questions and giving you my opinion on things. But this has been just such fun for me. I absolutely adore Terry and Gina. They've been friends of mine for years here in NSA. So any chance I have to work with them, I'm on board. But Stuart, forever grateful for you for inviting me.
As we turn it back over to Stuart, let me wrap up with a couple things here. I think Ann Obarski in the comments summed it up well for a lot of private comments that I'm seeing from people. And she said, great experience today. It makes me feel like we are all neighbors. We need to not be fearful in trying this. So I think that's very good.
Excellent. More wisdom from Ann. Thank you, Ann.
For those of you who registered online, you're going to be receiving the recording and also links that we have, and an opportunity to sign up for to subscribe to Terry's email as well as Lois's email list. And for those of you in the room there, if you want the recording and you know, to be able to access the links easily, you can register at bit.ly/March PSA Scotland, all together, all lowercase. bit.ly/March PSA Scotland. And so for those of you in the room, you might not have registered online, so you wouldn't be in on the recording those opportunities. That's all for me.
All right. Well, then, since I'm going to be leaving in just a moment, I want to thank everyone that is here. Thank each of you in Glasgow that have been there. For those of you joining us around the world live and those of you that are joining on recording, we want to stay in touch with you. You've got my email, terrybrock.com. We want to hear from you. Stuart, thank you so much for all you've done to put all this together. Lois Kramer, an honor to work with you. You are just fabulous and a wealth of information. And for those of you that are joining us on this and you see this, think about where we are. We are in a world that has changed dramatically. If you understand how to use this technology, how to leverage it, it's going to make your life better, less hassle, be able to do more, be able to produce more content, and be able to reach out and serve more people, generating more business, and being able to do things a lot better. And the key is you're going to need to invest some time, money, and energy. Be willing to do that. I love the way that Benjamin Franklin said it, one of our founding fathers here, when he said, pour the coins of your purse into your mind, and your mind will overflow your purse with coins. That is the way to do it. And also I'm going to leave with one of my heroes, one of my favorite heroes of all time, person I look up to and admire greatly, who was born about 70 miles from where you are right now in Glasgow. His name is Andrew Carnegie. Born up in Dunfermline. I think I'm probably mispronouncing that, but Dunfermline. But he said, achieve, achieve. Your victory and your success, the best days lie ahead of you. And I think that is the key for us. So I thank you very much, PSA Scotland. It's wonderful to be with you. And hey, let's do it again. Stay in touch. Let's do it. Stuart, I'm going to turn it back over to you now, as we unmute you and get you back on there. I think you're still muted. I think Stuart is still muted. Let's see if we can
Yes, he needs to unmute
Stuart.
Himself.
Yeah, unmute yourself there, Stuart, and it's yours.
Just before we do the niceties, Terry, it's Dunfermline. You've just 16 people shouting at the big screen just to let you see the big screen.
Thank you, thank you. I and Andrew Carnegie, thank you.
You're on the big screen, so we've got you. You've got to beam it on. So it's Dunfermline. So but that's okay. But just before we go, where we go? Hold on. Let me hand you over to Scott. One of the stalwarts of PSA Scotland.
Can I just, on behalf of PSA Scotland, say to our three speakers, thank you very, very much. A very inadequate thank you for spending so much of your time virtually across the pond. Just very, very quickly, Lois, you started off with a great session for us. You spoke about two really important aspects. You gave us some great tips on the positioning statement, making them short and memorable and conversational as well. Fantastic tips. And then what you described as the most important tool we have is our one sheet. And you showed us your example with some great questions and layout and how to make sure it's not full of yellow all about me, it's all pink all about them. So some absolute nuggets there which we can put into place not just tomorrow, but as Annabella said tonight, she's already, during this webinar, put some of these tips into place. So, Lois, thank you very, very much from all of us. Terry, we moved on to yourself, and you talked to us about why your clout score matters. You spoke to us about all the social media, and the fact that we're not just communicators. You explained that we are actually problem solvers. And I think that's a real mindset shift we have to really adopt and adapt. We're not just communicating, we're actually solving problems, and that's what we're getting paid for. And we solve those problems virtually through all the social media you described, and of course face-to-face, or both. And then we had some top tips on increasing our clout score from Gina. So Gina, some lovely ideas there on engaging and liking and sharing and some more fabulous ideas. So to all three of our speakers, before I hand back to Stuart to thank our audience, can we from Glasgow thank you across the pond?
Thanks very much, Scott. I like the way Scott thanks the whole world, but not me. That just shows you how nice he is virtually, but in face-to-face, rubbish. Guys, we've done the thanks for the Lois and Terry and Gina, and this stuff just isn't thrown together. I've had 3 or 4 Skype calls or Google Hangout calls with them, even Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon for me, Saturday morning for them. So thanks very much. I know Terry probably had a stinking hangover, but I really do appreciate especially all the educational stuff that you've been bringing us up to speed with, Terry. That's been great. Lois, I love your stuff. You know I love the stuff. And anytime you want to post anything on PSA Scotland, please do. It's been great. But we thanked you guys, so you're done. We're done with you. Gina, thanks for keeping that guy in the straight and narrow. But one group of people that I'd love to thank, well, 2. The guys that are online virtually that are tuned into this, I know some of them are already dropping off and they've got to go and do whatever they need to do because life goes on. So thanks very much to everybody that's been tuned in and even still tuned in at that stage. So thank you very much, really do appreciate it. So can we have a Scottish thank you to our global audience. As I said earlier on, I'm going to be coming across to Washington for the NSA convention. If you see a wee fat baldy man walking about wearing something tartan, come and say hi, come and shake my hand, and we'll go to the bar and I will let you buy me a drink. So, shake the hands across the water, Terry. Okay, guys, thanks very much. It's been an absolute blast. This is completely unusual for us, completely one-off. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again and get some decent speakers in the next time. So, if anybody else is online, thank you very much. It's been great. Terry, Lois, Gina, the rest of the world, thank you very much from Scotland. Good night, everybody.
All right, thank you. Good night.